Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
Hey champions, thank you for coming back and joining us on the Champion Within today. You are going to love this next guest. I'm going to admit I'm a little biased because I've had the honor to teach him when he was a high schooler. I really have enjoyed watching his journey, and whether or not he knows it or not, he has always inspired me. He continues to do so. Before we got on this recording, I was thinking of all the things that he's doing, just looking at LinkedIn and seeing all of the pieces of his journey come together has been really inspiring and amazing for me to watch. Today, you get to hear myself and Jeffrey DeVaughn talk. We're going to talk about high school athletics, college athletics, what he's doing now. And I know there's going to be so many things that come into this conversation that you are going to want to steal for yourself, for your athletes, as a coach. So get your pens ready, take notes, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we learn. How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing good. I'm a date our relationship back a little bit farther, fourth grade.
You can. I wasn't sure if we should go all the way back there, but you know what? Why don't we start there? Tell our listeners how we, know each other.
Mrs. Porter, how I first met, fourth grade. Then you literally taught me all the way up to 12th grade how life has happened. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Mama Porter, 9th grade year. So this conversation, I've been thinking about this for a while, how you watch me develop from 4th grade all the way up to who I am now. And that's truly special. And I'm honored. And hopefully you can see the picture way better than me because you watched me from a kid develop. So you've seen all these different stages of my life. And your family has been really impactful for me. And
Thank you.
I give Mama Porter a shout out because even middle school, you think you're the coolest kid, you're the hottest thing out right now. Then you got to start it all back over again in high school, and now you're back at the bottom. And for me, that 9th grade year really set me up for success by having Miss Strop and Mama Porter. If I didn't have them too, I probably wouldn't have went to college.
Let's tell them first.
Yeah, I might give it a spill, but we can talk about more about that.
Yeah, we're going to go into that actually. But first, you're right. I really have a unique view of your journey. I love that as a health and phys ed teacher. For those who are listening, I was at the elementary school for my first 5 years. And then I went up to the high school in the same school district. I had this really cool journey, especially with that group that went up as incoming 9th graders. And I got to love them and see them all the way through. And I'm going to admit, when you're in health and phys ed, you see a different version of students. The situation with Jeffrey, he's saying Mama Porter, and some of you are like, who is this person we're talking about? So my listeners who don't know, I should probably bring her on the podcast one of these days. My maiden name is Porter, and Mama Porter is my mom. So in addition to leaving the elementary school health and phys ed job, I was pretty much talked into going up to the high school because a female phys ed teacher had retired. And I said, okay, I love, the aspect of the kids who want to play a little bit more. I loved my littles too down at the elementary school. When I went up there, I was not married yet. She was Mrs. Porter. I was Baby Porter by all of the teachers. Even the students would sometimes call me that. And honestly, I was okay with it because she is quite the legend. I still am learning from her as a mother, as an educator, as a woman, just as a good human. Every single day, I call her more times than anyone can imagine to say, well, what do you think about this? Or am I being too crazy? And she gives it to me straight. Jeffrey and a group of 9th graders were put into, I guess it was almost a new experimental thing that the school was doing called the 9th grade academy, right?
We was trying to figure it out, but we stayed in that one classroom all day. So it was
So it was science And my mom was a science teacher, so she was science. Miss Straub, who he's referencing, Amy, one of the people I love, one of my colleagues and close friends, she's an amazing math teacher. And was there an English teacher that was involved?
It was Miss rest in peace, Miss Morrissey.
Miss Morrissey, that's what I thought, but I didn't want to put the wrong educator in that space. So she was teaching English, and another phenomenal educator. And as Jeff mentioned, we lost her way too soon. Then I got to teach this class for health and phys ed. And I'm just going to be honest that when this group came in, some of the staff from the elementary schools were saying, this group of kids from all the different elementary schools, because they went to 8th grade, they might be a little challenging, but we know they're really talented in so many areas. So my mom, Amy, Sue Morrissey, and they just pretty much told me I was doing it. I don't think I had a choice. When my mom does something, you just say yes. They decided we're not going to take the opinions of the elementary school and think these kids aren't, able to, whatever. They were coming up with the labels, really.
Yeah.
And they were determined to put all of you in a path for success. And you were also unique. There were some artists in the class. There was athletes. It was a great group of kids. So that's who we're talking about when we talk about those things. My mom, I'm going to tell you, Jeff, when she knew that you were coming on, I had to tell her. I don't always tell her about my guests, but she said, you got to show me how to use YouTube, because I'll put some of the episodes video, some audio. I apologize now, Jeff. She's going to be posting it and tagging it. But anyway, when you got there up to the high school, what did you think? What was your plans if you could go back to little Jeff, 8th grader maybe?
Yeah.
What did you think the plan was for you, or did you have a plan?
I had a plan. So I remember that 8th grade year, I was coming to the spring practices that the high school was having for football, and I was getting the early reps in, trying to learn the playbook, trying to get involved, show Coach Vo what I can do. So I think I was hot stuff, and I thought I'm better than everybody, and I just wanted to get better. I just wanted to learn the system. I wanted to show I belonged. Also, it's a different type of football now, so there's no more weight limit. There is people way older than you, and that's what I was looking for. I really wanted to test my games. I got there early, then I carried into the summer. And I just wanted to show Coach I wanted to be involved. I had hopes of playing varsity and doing all these high aspirational things, and it didn't happen. And I remember right when school started, I remember carrying my pads from the locker room, and I thought I was walking to the varsity field, and Bo was like, yeah, turn back around, go to freshman. I was like, freshman? How the heck am I going to freshman? I'm way better than the freshman team. So I had hopes. I thought I was going to play JV, and it didn't happen. And I was kind of distraught at first, but looking back at it now, it was a really good developmental skill for me to just learn to be with and stay with that core group of people that we all came in with, and we got the chance to bond, play with each other for the first time. It was disheartening at first. I had high hopes of trying to play varsity my freshman year and even JV, but looking back at it now, it gave me really key developmental skills of playing new positions. I played quarterback. I should have never been able to play quarterback. I remember Brian Ingram got hurt, and they was like, who could play quarterback? And I was just joking around like, I can't take a seat in the center at all. I was lying, but I just wanted the ball in my hands more. So I was like, well, if Brian can't throw me the ball, who else can throw me the ball? Nobody can throw me the ball. I need the ball in my hands. So I lied so I could play quarterback, and I took one snap and I threw like a quick out, and the coach was like, oh, that looks good. You're a quarterback now. I was like, thank you.
Guess what? You have the job.
Yep, and I'm not going to throw the ball. I threw the ball like probably one person. I was just running the ball all day. So selfishly enough, my teammates probably didn't like that, but I just wanted the ball in my hands more. But
yeah, well, let's give Vo a shout out there. And Vo is the coach for those who aren't from our local area. Jason Wojcicki, phenomenal educator and football coach.
Yeah.
And he really does keep it real. That's probably why I like him so much. He's a keep it real kind of guy. And says I can picture him saying, head over to the freshman field. And also your face like, what?
Yeah.
But he also, I think, developed each one of his players into becoming a man. Yep. I've actually seen you put on LinkedIn. I did a little stalking and was listening to some videos before we jumped on, even though I had the privilege to see your journey through education. There are some pieces that I missed when you were off, living college life. And getting into your career, I had the opportunity to listen to some things, and you said something, and I believe it was an interview when you were at Maine and you were working in the student diversity office. Possibly, I could be having
Yep,
the name of
that's
that
correct.
wrong. You said something along the lines of, I want people to be better when they leave here. I want this place to be better than when I arrived. And you were talking about all the amazing things that you were involved in and what the students can get involved in so they feel like a community, and that their parents know when they come to Maine, this is what is available to you. I know you've done that in some other
Yeah.
colleges too, which we will get to. I really do think, and you can tell me if there's some other people too, that Vo was a part of that for every athlete, that he really truly, he wanted to win. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. He wanted to win, but he also wanted the guys on his team to become better humans by the time they left.
Yeah, and I think that's key with Vo. And I'm thinking about the times we had, just the joking around, playing. Like, he was more than just a coach. He would teach you the game of football, but also he would teach you the life after football, or because everybody wasn't going to Division 1 or playing college football. So
Do you have a
life
story about that beyond the football pads take it to freshman field, where it was maybe outside of football?
outside of football, what was Vo? I would say just in general, and all the college recruiting processes all started happening. Like, just him having an honest conversation with me about, you might not go Division 1, or just keep your eyes open to any school, because he told me, just don't go to school for the coaches. That was the best piece of advice he probably gave me, was don't go to school for coaches, because I didn't know. I remember, you vividly remember when Penn State came walking in and talking to me, and I was like,
Sure.
oh, so surprised and shocked that, oh my God. And like, I saw the school and I saw the coaches, and he's like, yeah, don't go to school for the coaches, go to school for the school, because
Mm,
those coaches are going to leave in 2 years or a year and things like that. So he really gave me the perspective of how the college recruiting searches go and all that type of stuff. So I'll say that's the best piece of advice he gave me outside of the field, just life, how to handle and navigate all the recruiting process, because it can
right.
be overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming every day. A new coach coming in, and honestly, it feels very good. Like, just getting called out of class, and you know why you're getting called out of class, and just going to the
Sure.
library, having
Unless it was
conversations.
gym class. You were like, don't take
Yeah,
me.
yeah. And coaches know, do not get me out of gym class.
Right.
That is my favorite class of the week. But
Right.
I'll say that's the best piece of advice Vogue gave me, which is really
Yeah,
teaching
what a
me.
wonderful piece of advice. I want to talk about that recruiting piece, because I think my listeners, my athletes, the parents, and coaches can learn from you and what you experienced. Tell everyone what you're doing now, and then we'll come back to that so you
Yeah,
can drop some advice for those people who are in that journey now.
yeah. So I am the associate director for athletic major givens. I am tasked with raising funds for our athletic department here at Boston College, scholarships, capital projects, coaches support, you name it. That is my job, to go out there and try to fundraise it for. So make our coaches and our staff and student athlete lives better here at Boston College. So that's my day-to-day task. And it's truly special. I get to travel to different places, meet fascinating people, learn about their careers, how they got to where they're at. My mom calls me a professional beggar. So she always, every,
It's probably a valid term. I like it.
my mother calls me a professional beggar. So after every day, she's like, "Did you get any money today?" I'm like, "Not today, Mom, but I am working a relationship." So she keeps me humble when I'm not closing
I
gifts.
love that.
I'll say that's my day to day. So just trying to make lives around me better and easier. So uh, that's truly my day to day.
And right behind you, tell everybody what we're looking at back there. What a
So we're
nice
looking at
view.
Alumni Stadium right now. Holds 44,000. Can't really see it because the glare,
Yeah, we got some sunshine, but
but Alumni Stadium.
pretty sweet view though, right out
It's
there for
very,
you.
it's very sweet because our office sits right in the stadium, so we get to see the stadium right behind us, and it's truly a beautiful thing. This is what you get in college athletics for, just to be around the student athletes game day. I couldn't ask for anything better. It's really,
Yeah.
I tell my purpose and my passion are truly aligning right now. I can't be more
That
grateful
makes
and
me
happy.
so happy for you. And those who get to experience that, I call it the ripple effect, because what you're doing for someone else, then they carry that on into different areas of their life, athletically, academically, in their professional life. So you don't even know sometimes where the ripple effects land and how far
Mhm.
they go, which is okay. We don't always need to see it, but I love that for you. I just think that that's amazing to
Yeah.
do that. So let's go back. If we maybe go backwards here, before you got here and you're a D1 athlete, from D1 athlete now into the athletic offices, so to speak, getting to help and talk to a lot of different people, beg for money, as your mom says sometimes, which is needed. You need that. So when you were going through that journey, I want to make sure that we are very clear with everyone that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because sometimes people say, like, oh, look at Jeff or look at Kate. They're doing this thing. Social media, different places. People sometimes see the finished project or the end result. Look where we are now. I think it's really important to tell people there were steps along the way and not all of them were easy. So can you take us back to, let's go back to the high school recruiting.
Yep.
And I know Penn State came in, lots of different schools. We were also proud of you, still are. And I'm sure you had plenty of people telling you different things beyond Vo. Can you think of a story or a moment where you decided either this isn't going well or this is what I want to do? And how did mindset help you there?
Part of it was the SATs. That was my struggle. You have all these big schools coming in, talking to you. Then they look at my grades and like, oh, you got good grades, you good GPA. Pull those test scores out. And I'm like, here we go. So
Right.
for me, I was a struggling SAT score taker. I was never good at standardized testing, but I always excelled at school. And that's why I look back at my 9th grade year that set me up for success, because I started out the gate strong with a strong GPA that helped me to my senior year, whereas though my test scores could be a little bit lower. But to be truthful, I took the SATs probably six times, and I had to stay at the school a long period of times to try to get those scores. Miss Jetter helped me, Miss Schrapp, all these different people, Miss Kaiser, guidance counselor, all the people helped me to navigate. They didn't give up on me. That's all you can ask for a student. And I had that support system around me. So I was like, why can't I do it? Why not me if I got these people believing in me? The hardest part was just seeing the scores just fall off. Day after day.
What did you do? Do you remember? What did you do when something like that happened? Did you lean on those people?
Kept going. So I knew there was something bigger and better for me at the end of the tunnel. I knew it had to work out. Something had to give. My mindset was something had to give. I'm working way too hard not to get to my level where I need to be at. I think I took the 6th time, and I remember opening up the book, and the first story is about Maine. And I literally just dropped my head. I was like, I'm going to college. Like, I am literally going to college.
Hold on a minute. The first written part, or you had to read this and
Maine.
like answer some questions, was about
It was
University of
about
Maine or just the
State
state?
of Maine, just the state of Maine. And
Really? I never knew that.
I cherish that story forever, because I remember, so Maine came to visit me a couple times. So when it came down to the crunch time, it was out of Maine and Villanova. I give Coach Ferrante all the credit in the world, head coach at Villanova. Love that guy. He stuck with me through everything as well. And I appreciate that. So I had coaches not giving up on me, had guidance counselors not giving up on me. I couldn't be the one to give up on me. Like, why?
Yeah, because sometimes other people see stuff in us that we don't always necessarily see clearly right away.
So that helped
Did
me a lot.
Maine come to see you before you read that little paragraph?
So Maine saw me. I think they probably saw me 3 or 4 times before that. So they kept seeing me. I remember the first time they came, I blew them off, to be honest. I didn't know anything past Massachusetts. I didn't know Maine was a state. I didn't know Maine was a school. I thought there was a Division III school.
Okay.
I was like, all right, they probably getting Division III. I'm getting Division I looks already. And the coaches kept coming back. I'm like, okay, let me get a school really a chance and look at it. And I learned that they were Division I. They just won a conference. I remember one time, Coach Harry Semiak, love this guy to death of me. He is a great mentor and a great person in my life.
Say his name again. Is that the head coach?
Yep, he's a head coach at University of Massachusetts now. So he's the new head coach at University of Massachusetts. And he came to visit me during a blizzard. And to my knowledge now, being in Maine and Nebraska, that was not a blizzard. It was nowhere near a blizzard.
You're like, that was flurries.
To our standards in PA, that was a blizzard, and school was shut down. He's like, just come meet me at Dunkin' Donuts. Come meet me at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, Coach, look outside. It is bad out here. And I got in my car and I drove, and I'm driving so gingerly and so scared. And he came to talk to me, and that gave me perspective. And he invited. That's when I actually got the chance. He offered me a visit to the school. Like, we want you to come to the school. I was like, oh, this is actually my first time somebody offered me a visit now. So this is serious a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to the school, I visited, I flew up to Maine, and my first time ever visiting Maine, I was just so lost. I was like, this place is different. There's no billboards, there's no skyscrapers, there's just trees and land. And I remember meeting the head coach at the time, Coach Jack Cosgrove, and had a great meeting. And when you leaving your visit, you have the head coaching meeting, they talk to you. And I remember him telling me, like, you got to get the score. You just got to get that test score. And that gave me courage. Then the day before the SATs, he texted me, Coach Kaz, like, you're going to get that score. Like, you're going to get it. We believe in you. And he called me, and I was like, I feel good. And literally, test time, open the book up,
Wow.
story about me. And I'm like,
I really believe there's signs.
I literally dropped my head in the book, and I almost shed a tear because like, I passed. And I got
Yeah.
the score I needed, and I got the score I needed above. And I actually called the Villanova coach back because he, give him all the credit in the world. He waited as long as he could, but
Mhm.
I lost that offer, and I called him. I was like, Coach, I got it. I just wanted to give him the chance. I just wanted him to see that I didn't give up on myself. I called him. I was like, I got that score. He was like, so proud of me, so happy for me. And I just want to tell him, I was like, I got the offer. I got the offer from Maine. I'm going to Maine. He was so congratulatory to me, and those Villanova and Maine, that was really a good moment for me in that time period. So
That's
that's
pretty
really
cool.
one of my
Yeah.
this
I
one.
really do believe that there are signs if we pay attention to them that this is an opportunity, you have to take action. So seeing that little passage with Maine mentioned in it, and then even now looking back, you met him in the blizzard and you're at school where it's like, this is real blizzard's life now. We're
Yeah,
getting some serious snow. So it's almost like you were preparing every single step of the way that was showing you this is where you belong.
yeah,
I think that it's a great lesson for everyone who's listening, whether you're a teacher, a coach, an athlete. Keep going. I've heard you say numerous times, I had to keep going. And these people were not giving up on me because it is very easy for everyone, myself included, to say, this is too tough.
yeah,
I'm not going to do this. I don't think I have it in me. But if you allow yourself to see what other people see, and to keep going, something is going to land. I also like to say, if not this, something better, that you are exactly where you're meant to be. So now you get to Maine
yep,
and you're playing college football there. I'm going to actually highlight something that I saw. I believe it was the Dean Smith Award.
yep.
Tell everybody a little bit about that. And then I'm going to give a little flashback about what came to mind if I have this award concept correct in my brain. So tell
Okay.
people what the Dean Smith Award was when you
So
were
the Dean Smith Award is the highest honor award that you can get at the University of Maine for student athletes. Give it for your civic service, your academics, and your play. And I didn't know I was winning it. I was completely shocked when I won. I know I had to submit an essay for it and things like that. But when I got the award, that was one of the greatest feelings ever because that was the end of my career. That just really capped off my career here at Maine. And I tell people all the time, I wasn't the best player. I'm not going to sit here, get on the podcast and fabricate stories about how great I was. I was a team player. I was a starter. I was a captain. I had a good career, and I was good. Like, I was a good player. I didn't go off conference. I didn't go All American. But my senior year, I was a person people leaned on as for leadership wise and giving the hope, but also from a culture standpoint, somebody they can count on. So I did my job. I did it well. And that led me to being the Dean Smith Award winner. And I think that's one of the highest honors I can get rather than being all conference, all American, because that award leaves my legacy at Maine and opened doors for me to having networks with the president, athletic director, still all these people because
Mm.
of the things I've done on and off the field and with my leadership. So I take high pride and honor in my leadership and things I've done for uh, the student athletes at Maine and during with my team that senior year as well. So
Yeah,
that gives me more pride than being all conference and all American.
I love that. I got to tell you, when I was looking at it, because I'll do a little stalking before I bring a podcast guest on, even if I had the honor of knowing them for a while, I was thinking back to when you were in high school. And sometimes, especially if it was Mama Porter involved, we were voluntold that we were going to do certain things. You included as the student. So there were times where she would say, well, Jeffrey is a senior now. He's going to chaperone this dance and come down with all of our freshmen in the gym. We're having the freshman sophomore. Okay, they're going to be the bouncers at the door. That's what Mama Porter tells me. And then I remember, I believe it was your senior year as well. We took the freshmen at that time to Rose Tree Park and had a
I forgot
picnic.
about that. Ooh,
Yeah. So you not only went as a voluntold helper to orchestrate probably some kickball, different games that we just were letting all of the students play at Rose Tree Park. And then when we got back, we had barbecued and we had like hot dogs, hamburgers, all these rolls and things were left over. My mom and myself hate to waste things. And we called City Team, which happens to be a charity local. And I remember you and a couple of the other guys on the football team, we basically volunteered you again and said, you're going to load all of this stuff onto the truck. And we didn't even have to volunteer you and your teammates because you were just like, yeah, of course we are. We're going to do this. We're going to donate it. It's just who you were. That Facebook memory pops up for me every year.
I
And
remember that.
yeah, I
do
flash back
remember
to
that.
you standing on that truck holding, I think it was probably a box of the hamburgers or
Yep.
something. And it really reminded me of watching you go to Maine. I remember you were on the news actually holding little kids' hands walking to school in
Yep.
Maine. And it was, I assume, an initiative that their football team or the college did. And I thought, yeah, this isn't the first time that
Yeah.
he's been doing those things. So the Dean Smith Award was not a surprise to me. And I just think it's really who you are. And is it still something that
It's
you
still who I
do?
am, and I got chills just now thinking about both of those because I haven't thought about those in a minute. And I try to be more self-aware of the things I do, but I just do things. I don't think about things. I just go do it, and I just do it for the greater good. I I can't tell you why. I just want to make people better around me.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. I just want to make sure people around me have better than what I have, or just in general. I hate seeing people like sad, angry. Like, I just
Hmm.
want to how can I make your life better? How can I eliminate roadblocks? And I think looking at going fast forward, but looking here at BC, I came at BC at the right time in my life. So after leaving Maine and going to Nebraska during COVID, went to Boston College, whereas though I lost my student athlete identity. I didn't know who I was. See, I'll be open and honest on the podcast. I was suffering from depression. I had to go to the first time ever in my life. I found help to go to get mental health counseling. I tell myself now, Nebraska was a time for me to tear myself down to build myself back up to who I am now because Nebraska was a place I needed to be. I was 27 hours away from home. I went out there literally for $10 an hour to just get my foot in the door
Mm.
of college athletics. My mom thought I was crazy because I could work at McDonald's or Wendy's or anywhere else for more money, but I just needed to start, and there was no place bigger than Nebraska from the history of Nebraska standpoint. And I just needed to get my foot in the door of college athletics, so I did that. But when I was there, I was alone. First time ever in my life, I didn't have no teammates. I didn't have a locker room. I didn't have my parents. I
Mm.
didn't have nobody. And it was hard, but I fought through it. I seeked help. And as I tell myself now, as I reflect on how I've grown, Nebraska was a place for me to tear myself down, to find my identity, find who Jeffrey DeVaughn truly is outside of the locker room as an athlete. And now coming here at Boston College, I couldn't be more grateful for our opportunity to be here as a young professional, learning the true values of who I am now. Because the mission here, this mission, I am the mission here at BC. So
Mhm.
men and women for others, and the motto is ever to sell. Couldn't ask for nothing better as a young professional. Men and women
Yeah.
for others. I want to make everybody else around me better. I want to be the ultimate team player. And ever to sell. I'm a young, eager professional. I want to continue to sell. I want to be better. I want those things. So just to reflect on that question, that's how it all
Yeah.
comes in handy. Is like I just
I'm
do
so
things.
glad you took that time to reflect. And I appreciate the honesty. It's not easy to say that, especially when you are viewed as the big bad, like, look at me, football player. Even when you're walking in as a freshman in high school and all the way through, it's important though that we bring that up because somebody listening right now is thinking, oh, I need to do that too. I actually saw something posted. I wasn't related to this at all, but I saw something posted somewhere, Instagram or something, where there was basically some sort of therapist or life coach type person had a student athlete stand on top of a chair. He was standing on the floor and he said, pull me up, and she reached her hand out and she's like, I can't pull you up. I can't, it's hard to do that. And then he said, can I have your hand? And he said, is it okay if I pull you? And she's sure, go ahead. He easily just yanked her hand and pulled her down. And then he said, now get back up there. He said, now pull yourself down. And she was easily able to obviously step off and, jump down off of that chair. It's much harder to pull other people up when you're not in a good place, one, and to pull yourself up, putting on this happy face all of the time. If we do not take care of ourselves, we cannot show up as the best version for all of those other people that you want to become better humans.
Yep.
I'm really glad that you did that for yourself. Did you have someone who suggested that you went to get mental health, or did you, see
Uh,
that opportunity pop in front of you and said, I should do this?
I was talking to my mom about it a little bit. I was actually trying to hide it because I was still under her, to be truthful, I was still on her insurance. I was kind of afraid that she would see her son getting mental health help. And I was like, I was trying to avoid it so bad. I was like, but I finally opened up to her how I was feeling. And it was one of the best conversations I had. And I seek the help that I needed at
Yeah.
Nebraska. And that was really life changing. That's when the switch flipped in me and how I became who I am today. Like I said, literally had to tear myself down to build myself back up. And yeah, so I leaned on my mom. And that was really helpful for me. Like I said, trying to
Yeah.
hide it and do those things, but it panned out in the end. It really panned out. So
I would encourage those who are listening. Sometimes the tough conversations have to happen, and we don't want to say to our parents or someone we think is looking at us and putting us up on this pedestal, like, you're doing so great. I remember having a similar situation when I left teaching and saying to my dad, I think I need to retire. And he was a financial planner. And I'm like, he is not going to love this because I'm taking less money.
mhm,
But if I don't do this, I am always going to think, maybe I'll just go back and do that. And I was trying to build a business and pay for my children's cleats. My husband works. I'm very fortunate. And we just were barely making it, as he was saying, build this business. We can see something happening here. But I was paying business bills, not paying myself. And it was a journey where I said, I've been there for 20 years. I called the people first and said, what does this look like financially? And then when I finally went to him and I had a whole big speech planned, this is why I want to do it. One of my friends actually passed away from cancer. I said, I don't want to live my life. I don't know what's going to happen next year, kind of thing. I don't want to be struggling. Obviously, I got to buy Danny basketball shoes. Kylie's a track runner, all these things. He said, yeah, let's fill out the paperwork. Like, it was a great conversation, but I had to have that tough conversation. And I probably waited too long, to
yep,
be honest. I think it's important for those listening. There are tough conversations when you're on a journey, especially when you're taking care of yourself and trying to do new things. You're in Nebraska by yourself, right? It should be expected, we
yeah,
think, that we can handle tough things because we're athletes. And that's not always true. And it's okay for us to not be okay,
yeah.
to put it simply. So thank you for
So
sharing that. And thank you to your mom, if she listens to this, for just having that conversation with you and encouraging you to get the support you need.
yeah,
Yeah. Let's move to when we're talking about my athletes. I get to love athletes at all different levels: youth, high school, college, even some professional athletes now, which I'm very grateful for all of these people. I call it, I get to love. If you are talking to that high school athlete, maybe the high school athlete that's still inside you, the college person who is helping people navigate when you were at Maine, and now when you're at Boston, thinking about all of the athletes and the different people you deal with, what's one thing you would suggest to that, let's say, junior or senior in high school who is starting to think about, what do I do next? Where do I go?
stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself, especially in today's era, the social media thing you can get really caught up in. And now with NIL, you really can get caught up in it all. So trying to follow others who truly might not have what they say they have because everybody can post all the offers. You can only go to one school. You can say you got 55 offers, but only one school will take you. So
Mm,
stay true to yourself. Continue to work. You gotta work. Don't
yeah.
lose like what. Don't lose that part. That's the main reason. You have to work. You have to put up those late night hours. You have to do all those things. But at the same time, once again, take care of yourself. So you gotta learn how to take care of yourself. But the work is the most important thing. Like stay true to yourself. People want to be around good people. Don't be that
Mm,
person that nobody wants to play with, nobody wants to hang with.
right.
And the biggest thing I miss from being a student athlete is the locker room. So just be a locker room guy. Be somebody who can be in the locker room, just having conversations about all aspects of life, family, friends, love, whatever you can do. That's what people want to do. Like everybody don't want to talk sports all day and just like be that locker room guy too as well. So stay true to yourself, work,
Love
and
it.
just be somebody who people want to hang around. Just be that locker room guy, that glue guy, things like that. So, yeah,
Yeah, I think those are all great points. When you say put in the work, let's remember that that's not just the physical work. That's
right.
the mental side of the game of life. That's all work that
Yeah,
you're putting in. Even that locker room persona in the locker room, outside of the locker room, that's work
yeah.
sometimes. And
Student
when you
athletes
can,
have it harder today.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
be
let's
open.
talk about that. Why do you think so?
I'll be open on, and student athletes have it harder today because they got to navigate so much now. So, uh, with this house case settlement that's happening and all that roster limits, so now there's going to be smaller rosters. Uh, there's going to be more scholarships, but now coaches are taking transfers. So high school students are going to have it harder. If you're not a 4-star, 5-star guy or woman, it's going to be harder for you to get in college because these coaches are in a tougher spot too because now they got to win now. So they're going to the transfer portal and taking these more developed players who have college experience and things like that. So student athletes got to worry about the transfer portal. They got to worry about being recruited from a high school perspective. They got to worry about the social media aspect of fans bashing them, thinking that they
Mm,
make too much money. Like, oh, Jeff, you make $105,000. You make $2 million. You make too much money. Blah blah blah. This and third. So you got to navigate how you manage that, the social media aspect of it. Also, you got to manage your family and friends. Now they gonna want something too. They like, oh, I saw you got $2 million NIL money. Can you buy me a car? Can you do these things?
right.
When you're 18 to 24-year-old making all this money, you don't know how to handle that. So this might be the only money that you might not make it pro. So this might be, you got to learn how to invest this money. You got to learn to properly use this money. You got to learn the taxes because you still got to pay taxes on it too as well. So you got to do all these different things and put in the work.
Right.
You still
Yeah.
got to put in the work. You still got to be a good student athlete. You still got to get the grades and you still got to perform. So
I
it's
mean,
like
it's a job.
it's a job
It's a
now.
job.
You got to do a
Yeah.
lot. So the things I see in college athletics right now, just being around our student athletes and donors and doing those type of things, it is a changing landscape that is going to be fun to watch, see how everything unfolds in the next couple of years. But
Without saying anyone's name, because we don't want to put anyone out there, what have you seen that is helping those student athletes? Are they doing something either on their own or maybe colleges are setting things up to make sure that they are setting boundaries and that they are taking care of themselves, putting in the work, so to speak, in all of those areas?
yeah, so now you got colleges are more equipped with different things. So you got like student athlete development. That's an area where as though students get life skills, they get career skills and things like that. So they have that aspect of it. Here at BC, we have that, and we have over 700 student athletes. So they get an opportunity to learn more about off the field and off their competition respective sports, life after sports, but also how to manage your financial literacy, all these different things, but also within your own sport. I'll just use football, for example. You see a lot of football teams hiring chief of staffs now, and they have general managers, personnel, and player development person as well as that's helping them navigate life throughout college and personal stuff like career development, all those different things. So that's one thing I will say. The student athletes have a lot of resources to
Good.
use as well. But once again, it's all up to the student athlete.
Right. You have to use them.
You got to use it. So
Right.
you can make all the money you want. Then if you're not using it the proper way and getting the support that you need, you could be a senior year, might just blew all of that money and I don't have nothing to show for it. So
Yeah.
uh,
And I would say if you're a parent of a student athlete, I get to run workshops with them and they're always asking, what can I do to support my student, but not be a helicopter parent? You know, you got to let them grow and learn, make mistakes, but still know, just like your mom, that you can call me. You can, you need to do that. I think one of the biggest things is you could be that parent who says, you have to use the resources.
mhm.
You have to use the resources. I know myself, and he's not playing college sports, but my freshman in college, I am constantly reminding him, go talk to your advisor, go to the dean and ask, what are we doing here? Can I go and observe, do this thing? And at first, he didn't want to do that because he was an athlete all the way through. I promise you that I know it's connected to his career in athletics, that he thinks, I can do this by myself. I'm tough enough. I don't need these people to help me. Everything is figure outable. And yes, I agree, everything is figure outable, but you're at a disadvantage if you do not lean on those resources and the people. those listening, I know Jeff knows that already, being in that space now, but if you're listening and you're not sure how to support your athlete, that's an easy one. First, what are the resources at their college and how can they, and maybe it is a little helicopterish, but just to say, go use the resources, go use the resources. I'm here for you, but you also need to use the resources. So I love to hear that it's there. And I think we do need to encourage our athletes more. I know when I've done workshops or visualizations or different things with the college athletes, I'm constantly telling them, this is not a one-time thing with me coming in and telling you what you should do for your mindset. This is an ongoing daily habit. Do you have anything for yourself? I heard you mention gratitude and a couple different things along the way. Do you have anything that you do every day that is mindset related?
Workout.
Workout. I love that.
Every day at 6:30. So I still try to find that routine from when I played college football. So early morning workouts help me just level set and clear my head. I think that's the best thing for me, just literally working out every morning at 6:30. Got a regiment.
Love it.
Still in that football timeline of waking up at 5 in the morning and 5:30 in the morning, going to the gym. So
yeah, I mean, your brain knows that. For those who are listening, if you've been out of the routine, your brain can get back into that. Oh, we've done this before. I always tell people, I'm obsessed with the retraining of the brain. When your body moves, your brain grooves. So when you're getting up and doing that and working out, you're sending dopamine, all the good things you want to feel through your body. And your brain is saying, oh, okay, Jeff likes this. And now we have a good start to our day. That's what our brains do. Anything that you can do, if it's not exercise something, you have to do something. And I mean, Jeff's nailing it. You need a routine.
Yep.
And it's okay if one day you miss it, but you need a routine. That's how you stack a habit. Those little wins just pile up. I love that. Before I ask you our last question that I ask all of my guests, do you have any advice that you would give anyone at any place along the way that you wish someone had told you?
I wish someone had told me. Ooh, that's a good one. I wish someone had told me. Always keep options open. Always people say the plan B. I don't have a plan B. I got a plan A. We all did that. And why am I in college athletics right now is because of my coach, Coach Harris sent me at. One day he told me I was gonna be a college athletic director. I didn't know what a college athletic director was. I didn't know who was this person. That man couldn't find a person.
Okay.
That led me to a pathway I'm in now. And I talked to our AD at Maine, learned about his job and what he'd done. And I was like, oh, this is actually really fascinating. So I got an internship in development and I was working on hockey games. And I remember just walking to different suites of donors and bringing them stuff, just talking to these fascinating people. I remember asking my boss at the time, I was like, so when do we watch the games? How do we watch the games? She's like, oh, we don't. I was like, oh, this is weird. But I fell in love with it at that time. And I was still playing football. And that's the thing about it. I was still playing football. I was like, oh, I actually really, really like this. I really, really want to continue to do this. I continue to get more involved, learning more about it, doing different internships in the college athletic department. And it all came during that pro day, I wound up tearing my pec, right in front of right in front of NFL scouts. At that time, devastated, distraught, saying all sorts of things. My dream was over. And that was before COVID. So I tore my pec. So I had to get surgery for recovery 9 months. But during that time when I tore it, I was mad a couple of days. But after a while, I was like, you're in grad school. You have a plan because you still want to be a college athlete. You still want to be AD. That was helpful for me. That I think that helped me put my football
keep your options open.
Yeah. That helped me put my football dreams at ease. I was like, football has done so much for you so far in your life and taking you to different places, state, all these different things in your life that football has granted you the opportunity to do. Be grateful.
I love it.
Be grateful because it done enough for you. Now is your time to do what's best for you and that next option. So it really wasn't a plan B, but it was something I truly love and I found a passion for. Now I'm still here. Now I'm putting this dream to place. So this is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So don't look at it when somebody tell you to keep your options open and have a different plan, because now as a student athlete, you got all this money. You want to have these different plans. You want to learn about different businesses because you need to invest in these different things. I think it's more open to student athletes nowadays. I'm going to say back when I played. I'm not that old, but back when I played.
Yeah, don't make me feel really old.
Back when I played, it was like NFL, pro. But now as a student athlete, you got to have that business acumen of you. You got to have that mindset because you're making this money. You got to learn how to manage it and do all these different things. So, and the NIL aspect of it is endorsement. So you are a brand now. So you are getting represented by Adidas might want to come sign you, Nike, all these different brands. So no, it's not just a plan A for football or whatever sport you play because those other deals are out there. So you got to be able to market yourself and have different plans. So that's the best.
Sure. I think it's great advice. And it's not telling someone to give up when you're
Yeah.
saying keep your options open. It's telling someone to be intelligent
Yeah.
and be ready for all of the possibilities because there are a lot, as we were just talking about. It's really different for student athletes now. I think that's great advice. You know, I was just thinking when you were talking about the different things, you're in Boston now and different from Nebraska, you're not necessarily alone. There are some people who are close by. I happened to interview Isaiah, who was on the podcast. Do you see him? Do people come to Boston and hang with you?
Yeah. So funny story. Me and Isaiah, we got to Boston literally the same exact time. So when he was interviewing for the Celtics, I remember him calling me. I was still in Nebraska. He's like, "Hey, what do you know about Boston?" And I was like, start telling about stuff. So being in Maine, I came down here quite often for
Sure.
college. And I was telling about it. And he like asked me all about it. And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "I'm interviewing for the Celtics." I was like, "Oh, snap. I'm actually interviewing for Boston College right now." So that really helped me and him rekindle our relationship because of the time we spent apart. He was at Delaware State. I was at Maine. So we were still talking a little bit, but our friendship wasn't as
Sure.
tight
You
as
were
it was.
on different paths in
We're
different
on
places.
different paths. So it wasn't
Yeah.
our friendship wasn't as tight as it was when we was in high school and things like that. But now it is extremely tight. And I tell him this all the time. It's good to have somebody to go on the journey with different levels. I'm on a college level, he's on a pro level, but we're both around the same age, same area, same neighborhood, same high school. And we just
Same
want to be
elementary
same
school.
elementary school.
I got
So
to see both of you the whole way through. It's pretty
yeah,
awesome.
so
It
we
just
talk about this
popped
all
into
the
my
time.
brain that you're both in Boston. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we talk
Although
about
I'm
it all
sure
the
you're
time.
busy, but
Yeah, so we talk about it all the time about how we just want to be that beacon of hope for our community in our high school because it is possible. It is
yeah, you know,
possible to
I
get.
want to, I feel like I could keep you forever and I don't want to do that because I know you have
Yeah,
a busy day. One more thing, and then we're going to go to that final question. I'm glad you said that, that beacon of hope for our high school and the community you're in now. I see Isaiah doing stuff with youth in Boston and different places. And he even mentioned when he was on the podcast about, you know, you can do anything. It doesn't matter where you start. And I've seen you in different interviews and things say, even going back to Academy Park where you were at high school, reminding the students that you can do this. I heard an interview where you were saying, you know, if I would have thought this kid from outside of Philadelphia is getting my master's degree doing this, you know, it seems almost surreal to me. What do you want to say, not just to those students where I was lucky to teach at Academy Park and you were a graduate of, but students in general, anywhere who are listening, who are thinking, yeah, but where I'm at right now, it doesn't really look like that's possible for me. What do you want to
just
tell them?
just visualize what you want to be. Like there's so much more to life, and that's why I granted football because football opened up so many different doors for me to bring me to different places. Exposure is key in life. Exposure is very, very key in life. And I'll give you an example. So I remember one day here on campus, I seen this family walking around campus and his son, probably like lady son's probably in high school. And I saw myself, this black kid, saw myself. And I never went to walk around colleges and things like that. I have this opportunity now to have a key and access to all facilities here at Boston College Athletics. And I saw him looking. I was like, "Hey, kid, what you want to do in life? Like, what do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I want to be a college athlete." I was like, "That's a funny story because like, why are you here on this elevator with me right now?"
Mm.
And through that moment, I was talking. I just asked him like, "Do you want to see the facilities?" So I showed him our facilities. I didn't have my card on me. I had my kid to really run back in the office, get my stuff, come all the way back out. I had to drive to our different campuses to show them our baseball facility, and to simply put it all as exposure. People need exposure. Like you need to get out your community and see different things of life because life is so precious. The world is so precious if you get to see it. And I am so grateful for football for taking me to those places. I'm so grateful for Maine because if I didn't go to Maine, if I went to Villanova, I'd probably still be back home, to be truthful.
Yeah.
And the thing I say is if I can make it in Maine, I can make it anywhere. Then I went to Nebraska. And I was like, oh, if I can make it in Nebraska, I can make it anywhere. Now I'm here in Boston. So
Right.
exposure is key. You need to get out your community any way possible. So If you ever have any type of opportunity to take those field trips or go on those visits, go to these camps.
Go see it.
You just need to see it and experience, because there's so much more to this world than Academy Park and that area. Because
Mm-hmm.
just we got a world champion from the Celtics from your area. Like, we have these people around our community who is doing these great things, but they don't see it right now. And then we come back and we tell them about it. It's like, wow, it is possible. So it is very possible for you to do these things. And the biggest thing is just exposure. You need
Totally
exposure.
agree. I like to tell people at the elementary level when I do assemblies, all the way up to really adults, I say, you got to see it, believe it to achieve it. So it's really, even if you can't literally see it yet, you said in the beginning, start visualizing it. Your brain does not know the difference between reality and what you are picturing.
Yep.
But when you start visualizing it, you quite literally change your brain. It's
Mm-hmm.
science. It's not woo-woo magic. And then you will take those opportunities. You will see, oh, look at this field trip. Look at this that you were mentioning. And then you have to take that action, to actually do it, because we don't always know what is beyond what we see right in front of us that we can literally see. Such great advice for everyone, not just in those schools, but really everyone listening. If there's something, start picturing it in your brain and then take action. So I love that advice.
A motto I live by in college and still prior to this day is like, wish it, want it, do it. It's simple.
I love it.
Wish it, gotta want it. You just gotta go simply and just do it. So
Perfect. I love that. People need to steal that. If you're listening, write that down somewhere and just look at it every single day. I love that. So I ask everyone this question. If you had the opportunity to go back to any day or forward to any day, I do love the present moment and think it's important for us to embrace it. But where would you go? And what are you going to do that day?
Ooh, where would I go? What would I do that day? Jeff, where would you go? What would you do that day? I would just say a funny story. I would say I would go back to my last college game. We got our doors blown off by Eastern Washington, and it wasn't pretty at all. It was rough. We had to fly. So a week before we fly to Utah and played Weber State. I probably had the best game ever in my life. I think I blacked out on camera. I was
that good.
I was in the zone, and I was like, I'm playing for my college career. This is literally my last football game. So playing with that hope. Then we had to fly back to Maine. Then we had to fly back to Washington. So,
oh wow, yeah.
If I can do it all over, I would just try to tell my coach, let's just stay in Utah that week. Like, we just stay in Utah because the time zones and the travel. We just got our doors blown off, so it wasn't pretty at all. It was
So you would try to change the itinerary.
I'll try to change the itinerary a little bit to make it more helpful for us, but I'm not making no excuses to all the Eastern Washington alum out there. We got
fair enough.
Yeah, I was a better team that day, but it was I was just sitting there looking like, oh, it's over. It is not. We're not winning this game at all. But
what did you learn though from that? You had to have learned something.
Sheesh. Don't give people bulletin board material sometimes. Right?
There you go. Fair enough.
They had a little bit more pep in their step that day, but I think it's their day. Simply as that.
Yeah, be a good day to go back if you could change the itinerary.
I would change the itinerary. I would just stay, or I would just fly to Washington for that week and just stay out there. But
very cool. Well, we don't want you to go back or forward. I hope you keep in the present moment, but also be willing to reflect on those things. And like you have said, I have said, see that for you in the future and allow yourself to be open to those options. Is there somewhere where our listeners could connect with you, LinkedIn or somewhere, if they want to, follow you, the journey, or connect with,
I'll say LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, obviously my name, Jeffrey DeVaughn, but also my Twitter. It is Jeffrey DeVaughn, I think, as well. So
okay, and I can drop the links in the show notes.
So I would say those are my two things that you could follow me on and keep me up to date. I'm always willing to talk, share, and listen and learn as well. So
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you know how proud I am of you and that you do continue to inspire me. I'm just looking forward to seeing as the journey unfolds. It's just going to be wonderful to continue to watch from a distance and, celebrate you. Keep going, as you have said numerous times. I know you will. Thank you. Everyone who's listening right now, I will drop all of those show links right down in the show notes so you can just click on it, follow Jeff, be inspired along with me. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.